Good evening everyone and welcome to tonight's council meeting. Council would like to acknowledge the Wadawurrung people as the traditional owners of the land, waterways and skies we meet on today. We pay our respects to the elders past and present, and we acknowledge all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people who are part of the greater Geelong community today. This meeting is being broadcast on the internet and the recording of the meeting will be published on Council's website. Good evening everyone, I'm Mayor Trent Sullivan and I'll be chairing tonight's council meeting. Tonight will be our last meeting as a council prior to the declaration of the 2024 City of Greater Geelong election results next month. With that in mind, now is a fitting time for me to thank three councillors who have chosen not to nominate for election, thank them for the service and dedication to our city. A few months ago, my fellow Bellarine Ward Councillor Jim Mason announced that he would not recontest at the 2024 election. Jim grew up on the Bellarine Peninsula and worked as a civil engineer and a maths and science teacher before spending 2 decades immersing in humanitarian work in Kosovo and across Africa, Southeast Asia and the Middle East. Since being elected in 2017, Jim has shown a great passion for preserving the Bellarine Peninsula's natural beauty and advocating for environmentally sustainable housing policies to protect our coastal and rural environments. I thank Jim for his wisdom, his patience and in-depth understanding of the issues we face as a council and wish him well in his retirement and as he and wife Lynn embark on your next adventure together. Thank you for your service, Jim. Another councillor who sadly will be leaving us is Councillor Bruce Harwood, who has served on the City of Greater Geelong Council for more than 20 years. Bruce represented the City of Greater Geelong as Mayor twice, from 2006 to 2008, and from 2017 to 2019, and also twice as Deputy Mayor. He's a long-term resident of the Cardinia Ward that he currently represents, and was born and raised in Geelong. As an avid cyclist and former footballer, Bruce has tackled Geelong's population growth head-on during his time as a councillor, advocating for sustainable development and community infrastructure. Bruce has also been a long-time supporter of various local sporting clubs and community organisations. I thank Bruce for his many years as councillor and his service to the Geelong community. Thank you, Bruce. Our third councillor who has chosen not to recontest is Belinda Maloney, who shares Jim and Bruce's passion for sustainability and protecting our precious local environment. A university lecturer, IT professional, musician and avid gardener, Belinda ran for council in 2020 to drive climate action and support council's push towards zero carbon emissions. During her term as councillor, Belinda has provided a unique perspective on various council policies and local laws, and I thank her for her contribution. Thank you for your service, Belinda. I also wish to thank all my other fellow councillors from 2020 to where we are now. The world is different and I'd like to thank all of you for your time you've put in for the time that has been done. Various budgets, lots of measures, lots of policies. Thank you all. I'd also like to thank our Chief Executive Officer, Ellie Wasty, and her Executive Directors. Thank you and to all your team for the work you've done during your term with us at the City of Greater Geelong. I'd also like to thank all the 2,700 staff who make up the City of Greater Geelong, along with countless volunteers and community groups that work with us as a city to make our region an even better place. And finally, thank you to the wider Geelong community. It's been an honour to represent you as Mayor, and we'll begin the council meeting itself. Councillors, I'll be asking for strict adherence to speaking time limits tonight. We have one apology this evening from Councillor Contell. Do we have any other apologies to be noted? Shouldn't be any leaves of absence either. If not, move on to declarations of conflict of interest. Are there any declarations to be made? If any do arise, please make them known. May I please have a mover and a seconder to confirm the minutes of the council meeting held on the 8th of October 2024. Moved Councillor Wilkinson, seconded Councillor Hathaway. All those in favour? Thank you. All those against? That is carried. Now, in accordance with the Council's election period policy, there will be no public question and submission time during the election period, which commenced at noon the 17th of September and concludes at the 6 p.m. on 26th of October 2024. We've received 0 petitions from members of the public to be tabled because they can't be tabled either. So we'll move straight into section 2 for reports. Now, in line, Council's election period policy, the recommended decision for this report is not a prohibited decision of Council, being the Annual Report 2023-24 and Annual Report Summary 23-24. So, as Mayor, I'll move that and I'll ask Deputy Mayor Aiken to second those reports. So we do have the Annual Report and Annual Report Summary before us tonight for consideration. I believe in this report it is a reflection, as noted, for the last year. And we've sought to balance our longer-term outlook with a desire to meet current-day needs of the community. There are expectations of the community that we offer, that we act as efficiently as possible to deliver value to ratepayers. That's something that I thoroughly believe that we have achieved. There's been great highlights over the last year, such as our Positive Ageing Program, Business Accelerator Scholarships, Geelong Nature Festival, the launch of the Live and Local program as well, Geelong Design Week, our 16 Days of Activism against gender-based violence, the opening of the Northern Bellarine Aquatic Centre and the Northern Arc as well. We've had great levels of community engagement, over 91,000 visitors to the Have Your Say platform for 56 projects that were on there, and over 200,000 views as well. The City awarded over $3.9 million in grants to 240 grants out there for the community, a grants program that this council should be very proud of and all the councillors are very passionate about as well. There's been great expenditure, $139 million, $139.5 million rather, into capital infrastructure, which is the platform for the current budget, which even increases those levels as well. But in this document can mark the progress of how we're measuring up against our key strategic directions, such as being a healthy, caring and inclusive community, making sure we have a strong local economy, making sure that we have sustainable growth, a sustainable environment, making sure that we are overseen by a high-performing council and organisation. The metrics in this I thoroughly do approve of. We're about 75 complete on the actions we're wishing to take. It's all about never wishing for perfection, but always striving for constant improvement. That's what we do day after day, year after year, term after term in the City of Greater Geelong. So I'm happy to move over to Deputy Mayor Aiken to second this report. Phone on, please. It's not on. Deputy Mayor Aiken reserves his right. Councillors, to comment. Councillor Wilkinson.
This represents an incredibly powerful amount of work, and I just want to reiterate the statements made by the Mayor in thanking the 2,750 employees here at City of Greater Geelong that every day come to work and really undertake incredibly challenging, innovative tasks, and it's quite reflective in this report. So I just want to express my gratitude on behalf of myself and fellow councillors.
Councillor Wilkinson. No other councillors to comment? So, Councillor Mason.
Thank you.
Not on yet, I'm afraid. Give it a second.
Is it on now?
Yep, give it 1 second.
Yeah, thank you. I also endorse the words of Councillor Wilkinson, and I'd like to express my pleasure with the way the ELT has worked with me and other councillors and the many other staff that I'm engaged with. And I thank you all very much for really pushing forward on a very progressive agenda. And in that light, I'd like to allude to the 2020 Act, where it requires, I say the word again, requires Council to look forward with the overarching principles such as looking at the best outcomes for the municipal community, including future generations, looking towards economic, social and environmental sustainability, including climate change, community engagement, innovation and continuous improvement, collaboration with other councils and statutory bodies, strategic planning and strategic decision making, harmonisation with regional, state and national plans, and ongoing financial viability. Mr Mayor, this report and its summary attest to these principles and their excellent implementation. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Mason. Councillor Murray.
Yes, Mr Mayor. I think it's important to mention the snapshot of the varied work done by the staff, and I echo Councillor Wilkinson's words in relation to the staff and the great job that they have done over the past 12 months. And as noted in the report, during the last financial year, and I know the Mayor mentioned this, the City has awarded 240 grants worth $4 million, spent $51.6 million on renewal works, managed 380 public play spaces, delivered more than 95,000 hours of early childhood education and care, served more than 49,000 meals to vulnerable residents, replaced 12.9 kilometres of footpaths, resurfaced 45.5 kilometres of roads, managed and restored 1,466 hectares of protected natural habitat, issued $1.4 billion worth of work permits, registered 46,740 dogs and cats, and undertook more than 3,000 fire hazard inspections during the fire season. So certainly the council services is wide and varied, and that provides a very good snapshot of the type of work that is undertaken by the staff. Thank you, Mr Mayor.
Absolutely. Added that list over 5,000 potholes, Councillor Murray. So they do a ripper job.
Well, yes, very good.
Councillors. Councillor Hathaway.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. I particularly wanted to speak to the City's commitment to health and wellbeing. I've got a professional interest in this area as a social worker and working in mental health, and I have to say it's getting very pointy. So it's nice to have a good news story. And particularly I've been thinking over the last period about people's perceptions of mental health and what it is and what it isn't. And it's really clear reading this report that having access to a local park is mental health. Being involved in your local sports club or community arts project is mental health. You know, going to your neighbourhood house, like everything council does, the 120 plus services that council offers this community is about promoting mental health and wellbeing. There's a big shift in the sector at the moment to move towards social prescribing, so trying to move away from this, here's a pill, it'll fix you, to go and have some social inclusion, go for walks, go and join your sports club, whatever it is. So I can't stress enough how much of a difference these services make in our community. And if I can, please keep going. If I can implore the staff, we're really lucky that we've got some amazingly dedicated staff here. And I hope that the incoming councillor group will continue to support the very much needed work that they're doing.
Councillor Hathaway. The councillor's comment? If not, Mayor Aiken.
There's been no opposition to it, so I don't intend to make any further comment, Mr Mayor.
Okay, how the rules go. All right. With that, I'm happy to put this to the vote. All those in favour? Thank you. All those against? The item is carried. Right, seeing as we have no further items to consider, I would like to thank both our virtual and in-person gathering members for their participation tonight, for being here. Thank you all for your dedicated attendance over many, many council meetings. I call the meeting to a close at 6:45 p.m. Thank you all.
Here's where I hand in the gear.
Congratulations, Jim.
I haven't said it for years.